Hi, I wanna make this quick video. Um, I had coronavirus, or I still have it. I still have it. I don't know. I started feeling sick on March 20th, with very hard and bad body aches. I was really in tears. My knees, my hips, my legs, my back. I thought it was something related with my sciatica, my lower back pains, but then when it got worse, I was no, this is not. This is something different, and that's when I started being sick, March 20, and I developed like flu-like symptoms, but not so much a runny nose or congestion in this part. It was more like in this part, my chest. And it got worse and worse and worse. This Friday is gonna be my 4th week. Like I will complete 4 weeks with symptoms, like not as bad as in the beginning, but not in the beginning, like in the middle. But I'm still battling this cough. It goes, comes back. It goes and comes back. It's a persistent coughing and phlegm still. So in my worst day, I couldn't breathe at all. I lost my sense of smell for like 1 week, and I was like this the whole time. I would get short of breath even talking, but I was really scared to go to the hospital, and I wasn't able to get tested because every time I call, they say that if I didn't have fever. I do not get fever. Don't remember, never have had fever. So I call and they ask if I had fever, or if I had another like sickness or illness, or if I have been in contact with someone else, and I couldn't answer any of those. So they say that I won't be a priority. So finally I had to go in to do it at a private lab and pay $150 on April 2nd. But I have my worst days were behind. On my worst day, I almost got to the hospital. I told my husband, I can barely breathe, and I'm so scared, and I don't want to go. And my husband was sick for 2 days with fever. He had fever, and he was 3 days in bed. My 2 girls, one had a fever and a vomit for like 2 days, and the other one had fever and diarrhea in a different week for 2 days. But thank God, so far until today, they don't have any other symptoms. My husband is fully recovered. He was sick for 5 days, and then he was completely well. For me, it's been 4 weeks, the most horrible 4 weeks of my life. And that day that I couldn't breathe, I was so desperate. And I was desperate that I couldn't breathe properly. And I was desperate because I didn't want to go to the hospital. Because I had the idea that if I go to the hospital, I might not come back. I was scared. And even if I'm a Christian, I was really scared. So that day, I was crying, and I went on my knees, and I put my forehead on the floor, on my knees, and I started crying, and asking God, like begging God to please heal me, to please help me, to please. I want to see my girls grow up. I don't want to leave my husband. I'm not afraid of dying, but because I know in my faith I will go to heaven with Jesus. But I dream of seeing my daughter quinceañera and the sweet 16, and I want them to be married, and I want to know my grandchildren someday. So I was like, I want to go when they are older and independent, So that day I went on my knees and I begged to God. I was like, God, please help me. And while I was there begging and crying, and my nose was running really bad, Um, and I was coughing. Then after a few minutes, when I stood up, I felt relief. I felt like my chest was not so tight. So later on, when I felt the sensation of tightness again, I went on my knees again and I went down again, and incredibly, every time I stood up, I would feel a relief. So to make this story short, I think there's 3 things that saved my life. First, my faith in God and in Jesus Christ. And second, the fact that I knelt down and I put my lungs to the position, that's what I mean. Kneeling down with my head down and coughing, I think that helped me to, free a little bit of my chest. And the third one is that I'm a singer, and I have had technical breathing for many years. I've been singing since I'm 12 years old, and I'm 45. So it's many years. It just recently I study opera, like opera technique, and I put a lot of exercises into my breathing. So every time I was tight on my chest, I would breathe deep down like I was taught. So it's like a surprise, like a doggy, but just one, and you take a lot of air deep down on the stomach. And that's what I did. I would help me that way. And so I think that 3 things saved my life: my faith, praying on my knees with my head on the floor while coughing and crying. That helped me to get like some space in my chest, and being able to breathe properly deep down. Because normally people breathe here like, and they do this. This is not good, when for singers, of course. But I think that helped me not to have to go to the hospital and get a ventilator or something else. I was really, really tight. When I tell you really tight, it's really tight. So I that's what I did. And I hope I am not a person to go on social media to talk, but I think this saved my life. When I was praying, I would use Bible verses to fight, like a sword, to fight against the coronavirus, like the Psalm 91, like everything I can in Jesus that strengthens me, God with me, who is against, and this sickness is not for death, but for the glory of God to be manifested. And a lot of verses that I know in Spanish, but in my English I don't know how to tell them. But my point is, pray, get a Bible, use it as a sword against the coronavirus. And if you don't believe in the Bible, hope you do, but if you don't, just get on your knees and pray to God. Beg Him. He's good. He will help you. Go to your knees, pray, humble yourself. Say, I'm sorry for whatever I have done. Put your head on the floor and cough and cry and beg. And then the second, breathe like you are a singer. Breathe like a singer. So deep down, and hold it. And that might be the secret to save your life. I am praying for everybody. I am praying for every person that is sick. I'm praying for every person that has lost a loved one. I'm praying for all the doctors and nurses, and I'm praying for all the presidents and the governors in the world that are faced with these hard decisions when they know as much as everybody else. Nobody knows nothing about the coronavirus, like really, and they are facing those decisions. I'm praying for them. I'm praying for the people in churches to really all the people, any church, any religion, reach out and help, pray for one another. And this is another opportunity that we as a race, as humans, we're having another chance. Let's become different after this. Let's be better people. Let's not kill our own babies. Let's not kill the species. Let's not kill the planet. Let's be more conscious. No, don't be so focused in money, on in entertainment and things. Everything is good, but we cannot forget the other part. Balance. We have to have balance as a race, and we lost the balance. We have to try to find the balance again, and we have to reconcile with God. Okay, I will keep praying for everybody. This is just my humble experience. I hope there is one person out there that can, this video can be of help. I'll be happy. Thank you very much. Bye.